What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be doing a special subscribers request before I start my journey into Photon Hypernova. But I mention that because if you have any decks in mind, you should always comment down below as I'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. Because while this is my channel, this is also your channel in the sense that you're the ones viewing, and I want to give you guys product that you guys can actually watch and want to watch. But anyways, before I begin, if you happen to enjoy content like this, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons would be greatly appreciated, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. So as you can see, I'll be doing Manadome Spright, and the way I'm structuring this video is because the concept of the deck may feel weird at first, because there will be hands where you do have a lot of Manadome cards with just one starter. You can get like a full Spright hand with a Manadome card, and that's kind of what I want to show here, as I'm then able to showcase how you can work around these things and play with this deck without it feeling necessarily awkward, if that makes sense. But to start here, I'm going to use the Reichphobia here to get ourselves the Reichheart. Then we can activate the second field spell here, which will net us another search. This time we got Visa Starfrost, and now we're going to normal summon the Earth level 2 here. I forget the name, but we're then going to use the effect of Heart, popping the level 2 and then special summoning itself, which then we can get the 3 effects off of the level 2, the Heart and the field spell, which will revive the level 2, and this will allow us to get more bodies on board, as we want to put out as much presence as we can with this hand. And we're going to use the Starfrost now, popping the level 2. The level 2 will get us another level 2. And now from here we can go into our Charge Warrior, draw 1, as we're then going to go into our Crystal Wing. And from here we'll be able to protect our plays, as we're going to special summon the other level 2 because we control the Visa Starfrost. And then we're going to go into our Lightheart, search ourselves another copy of the Reichphobia, and then from here we can special summon the Reichheart, as it's also going to be the third defense position monster that we have here, netting us a second draw. We're then going to use the Arrival to revive the Starfrost, and this will get us into a Baron, as we can now link away into our Sprint, then go and dump our Angler, get 2 Beavers, and this will basically enable the Sprite combo. And we're going to go into our Gigantic Sprite now, special summon out a Swap. Swap can then send another copy of Swap. We can then link away the Beaver and the Sprite for the Sprite Elf, and then we can use the Elf effect reviving the Swap, go into our Toad, set our starter, and this will essentially give us a monster negate through Crystal Wing, the Toad, which you can use twice with the Elf here that will revive it. You also get the targeting protection along with the Omni negation that you get through Baron, but you also get 2 draws, which can help you further extend your plays. And on your opponent's standby phase, you can always use the Toad, bringing out the 3rd copy of Swap, and then with your starter, if you happen to get a red or a carrot, you can tribute that Swap Frog summoned by the Toad. So that was a primarily based Manadome hand. Now I want to show how the level 2s work here, which I think is kind of obvious, but if you don't know the deck here, then this will be important for you to watch, as we can normal summon the level 2 tuner here, as we're going to special summon the blue. Then we can use the blue effect, which will get us a jet. We can then special summon the jet, as we're going to search a copy of Smashers, since we already have a starter in hand. And now from here we're going to link away into our Sprint, and this will allow us to send the Angler for the 2 Beavers that will be special summoning off of it. And then from here we can summon our Magna Hut, because if you do open a Bestial with the level 2 tuner, you do have a Synchro 8 here, as I'm going to go into Dragite after using its effect. And then from here we can just do the standard Sprite combo that you saw previously by getting the Swap Frog, using the Swap Frog to dump another copy of itself, and then from here we can link away into the Sprite Elf, revive the Swap Frog sent from Swap Frog, as we're now going to link into our Toad, set the starter, set the Smashers, and now we can get into our more fun combos as we end on Dragite, the Sprite Elf protecting the Dragite and the Toad, along with the Toad and the 2 sets. So on this third hand here, you'll see that I actually drew the 1 copy of Angler and the 1 beaver, and that's perfectly fine, as I want to show that this is still combo here, to further showcase how these archetypes work together while not being as awkward as one may think heading into this video if you haven't seen a deck like this function. But we're going to start here by normal summoning the tuner. We can then use the Starfrost, popping it, and then we'll get another copy of the level 2 tuner here. And from here, we can then go and link away into our Lightheart, as we're going to search ourselves the field spell to add us the Reichardt. And once we add the Reichardt, we can then special summon it under the Lightheart, which unfortunately we won't get a draw, but we'll still be able to get a search, which will get the Arrival, which is just another extender. As we're going to go into our Coral Dragon, we can then special summon out the Reichardt back off the Arrival, and this will allow us to go into our Baron, which also gives us protection for the rest of our plays, and we don't have any more Manadome stuff to do, so the starter becomes something you can use for this turn now, as I'm going to also get a draw 1 as we get into a Bestial there with the Druid Worm. We're going to activate the starter, bring out the blue. The blue can then get ourselves a search, which will search the Jet. We'll then special summon out the Jet, which will grab us another copy of starter, or you could get the Smashers here, as we're going to then go into our Gigantic Sprite. The Gigantic Sprite can bring us out the swap here. The swap will send another copy of itself, and then we can link away the Lightheart and the Gigantic Sprite here for the Sprite Elf, as the Sprite Elf is going to revive the Swap Frog, and then we can go into our Toad. Under the Elf, as now we have Elf with Toad and Baron. We also have a Bestial here that we drew, and we have another starter or Smashers to give us extra stuff to do on our opponent's turn. So now that you've seen the Manadome side of the deck, the Sprite side of the deck have larger roles in individual hands while also drawing our Angler and Beaver in our third opening hand, now I want to show off a combo where you actually use both archetypes in conjunction for your end board. So I'm going to start here by normal summoning the level 2 tuner here, and then we're going to use the Lightheart, or the Riemheart, which will allow us to get a search for a Manadome card or monster, I don't remember. It's a card. And then from here, we can get ourselves an extra body along with the search here, as we do get the tuner here, the water one. And then we're going to special summon the blue, and we're doing this because if you want to play around Nibiru, then you can just summon the blue, get the red as we just did. And now we can special summon the water tuner, as we're going to pop it with the field spell searcher here. I forget the name of it. It's been a little bit since I did this video, but we're going to add the field spell here, special summon out the level 2 from our deck, and then we're going to use the field spell, which will get us an addition for Visa Starfrost here, as we're now going to go into the Herald of the Arclight. And the way I'm going to sequence this is important because you can't necessarily go into your Sprint while Arclight is on the board, because you'll end up banishing what you send off of Sprint. So what I'm going to do is use the Visa Starfrost here, pop the Earth Tuner. We can then get another copy of the Earth Tuner, or actually we can use the field spell to revive the Earth Tuner so that we don't go through more resources. But even if you go through all your resources in regards to extra copies of itself, you can just use the field spell to bring it back, as we're going to do here. You also do want to summon the Visas here, because you need the zone open for Lightheart, or under Lightheart, so that you can special summon the Reichardt here. And we're going to do just that as we go into our Lightheart, getting us our Reichphobia, and then we're going to special summon the Reichardt here, which will get us a draw as well as a search. We also get the ability here to synchro away into Coral Dragon while keeping an extra level 4, because we have the Arrival in hand, which is important to note. And now you're going to see I'm going to use that reviving the Reichardt, and now we can synchro away into our Baron like this, and now we can draw 1 off the Coral Dragon and rank away into our Dweller, while also being able to go into our Sprite combo now through Sprint. And we'll send the Angler here, getting us 2 copies of Beaver. We can then rank up into our Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprite will use its effect, bringing out a Swap Frog, and just like you've seen in previous combos, we're going to send the other Swap Frog, link away into Sprite Elf, and then we can revive the Swap Frog to get us into our Toad here, and have our 2 Exceed monsters protected by the Elf with the Omni Negation through the Baron, also getting you a couple of draws via the Reichheart, the Coral Dragon, and the Search that you get off of Lightheart. And this will pretty much round out our board. So as you probably saw in the video, there's 2 versions of this deck that you can play, which is the 40 and the 60. The first one I'm going to show is the 60. And it's because this is the one that gives you space to play going second cards. You don't need to play all these quote-unquote crows or graveyard hitters, but the cool thing that you do get here is that it is 15 slots, so the side deck has set slots that you can just pick away at from the main deck. And it's not going to be as efficient as doing it with the 41 card list that we have here, because if you want to keep it closer to 40, then that also means you're filling your deck just with Engine. And considering that the 3 swaps with the Angler and the 3 Beavers is already 7 slots alone, while committing to the Sprite engine requires something similar. As you see, I'm only even playing 2 Jets to keep it at 41. You could put it at 2 Jets to put it at 43, or 3 Jets, I'm sorry, but the point is that the 60 card variant will allow you to play going second cards. You'll see I also have the same extra deck for both the 40 and the 60, and it's because if you are going to combine these decks, I do think that the extra deck is pretty straightforward because you want the ability to do your Sprite combo while also wanting the link monsters necessary for it, but you also want the most necessary synchros for the Manadome side of the deck. So onto the card by card, we have the 3 Reichphobia, the 3 Riemhart, which is another thing I want to point out, that if you play 60, you can also max out on your Reichheart engine, which is pretty convenient. And we have the 3 Visa Starfrost, the 2 tuners of the Manadome archetype. Then we have the Sprite engine with 3 blue, the 3 jet, the 1 carrot, the 1 red, the angler, the 3 beavers, the 3 swap frogs, our Bestial engine with 3 Magna Huts, 3 Druis Worm, and 3 Saronir. We then have 3 Skullmeisters to complement the Bestials along with the crows. And then we have the 3 Manadome field spell, 3 Reichphobia, the 1 terraforming, the 1 reinforcement of the army, the arrival, the Manadome pop and field spell searcher. I forget the name of this thing. We then have the 1 copy of the draw card of the Manadome archetype. This is something that you can also flex in and out if you would like. And then we have the 1 smashers with the 3 starters to round out the main deck. Into the extra deck we have the Baron, the Crystal Wing, the Dragite, the Stardust Charge Warrior, the Coral Dragon, the Herald of the Arclight, Gigantic Sprite, Abyss Dweller, Toad, Lightheart, Sprind, Elf, Mask, Unicorn, and Appaloosa to round out the extra deck. As you can see, it's basically the same thing as 41 card list. It's just that you have 15 more Bestials, you have the 2 more copies of Reichheart, the 1 extra copy of the field spell, and I believe that's the main differences that this deck has, are really the only differences. Anyways, that's all for today's video, and if you made it this far, I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.